This week on Rugged Expeditions, I'm hunting with my old friend Jay Link of Link's Wild Safaris and my old college buddy Jose Antonio Rivero on Jose's ranch in north central Mexico. And we're going after one of the rarest subspecies of whitetail, the Mexican Central Plateau Whitetail. One of the smaller species of the whitetail deer, but just as crafty as any of the other ones.
This episode brought to you by Global Rescue, there when you need us the most.
The desert holds a special allure. The dry, rugged landscape at passing glance seems to have no appeal to the first-timer. However, you'll find surprising beauty among the strange fauna and flora that's eking out a living in this harsh environment. It's so much different, and it's so cool. Wow, we always talk about rugged expeditions and how tough it is, so many of the places we go and all the mountain climbing and everything else, and we're keeping that tradition alive today. We're gonna use a helicopter to go out to the farm. So, you know, it's gonna be rugged. I'm sure it'll be tough. There might be some air sick bags involved, but it's a nice calm day, so I'm thinking it's gonna be awesome. Taking a chopper sure beats the hell out of an 8-hour drive on unpaved roads, and that's how long it takes to get to this ranch. It's in the middle of nowhere. But what a surprise when I looked down to see this beautiful hacienda, complete with a swimming pool. A cement pond out in the middle of nowhere? Say what? Hey, how are you? Alan. How are you? Really good, Alan. I just love a good deer camp. What's better than hanging out with your buddies, catching up on the latest? That's what it's all about. Jose and I go all the way back to our college days, and since then, we've hunted and fished together on many occasions. He's one of those great hunter conservationists, a safari club member, and he loves to be in the outdoors and protecting the habitat that provides a home to all the wild things. Joining Jose and I on this hunt is one of the leading big game hunters in the world and the owner of Link's Wild Safaris, Jay Link. It's always fun to share a hunt with Jay, and this one should be a blast. Since we were using borrowed guns on this adventure, it's always good to check them out before we get out in the field, especially if it's got some kind of weird muzzle brake. No excuses. White-tailed deer are one of the most adaptive ungulates on Earth. Habitat is the biggest factor in the development of any animal's body and horn size. Hot, dry regions, as a rule of thumb, although there are some exceptions, do not create the biggest of any race of most animals. The Mexican Central Plateau whitetail deer is not as big as your Texas whitetail, but it's definitely bigger than the Coues deer. Found only in the Central Plateau of Mexico, these deer live in the Chihuahua Desert, many of them around the Saltillo area and south of that. It's a mountainous region. There are some flat open plains, but most of the area we're hunting in is rolling hills, cactus, and a lot of thick bush. There's a great chill in the air this morning, which will hopefully get these deer into the rut full tilt. With the heat, it's been a little bit slow, but this morning we had a great plan. Jay's going to the water hole, and I'm going to the plowed field. So we've seen some nice ones heading towards that water hole, so maybe this is it this morning.
It's about a half half an hour after sunrise, a nice, approximately 4-year-old buck came in perfect, about 45 yards from the stand. But he only had 4 points on one side, so I decided to pass him. It's the first morning of the hunt, so I think we need to look around a little bit more. But beautiful buck, came in nice, and he caught our wind, and he stopped in his tracks, went on high alert, ears up, alert position, and wasn't sure what was going on, and he just kind of froze, and then back up, and then kind of circulated back from where he came from. Smart animals, very smart.
Rugged expedition. Rugged expedition. Rugged expedition. Rugged expedition. Rugged expedition. Rugged expedition.
This time of year, it gets up to the low 80s during the mid-afternoon, but really cold at night and at dawn. The chilly mornings in the back of the truck certainly blow the cobwebs out from between your ears, I'll tell you. On day one, Jose and I drove around the ranch getting a lay for the land and checking out some water holes, while Jay went out and sat in a high stand to see what he could see.
Jose, how long have you had the ranch here now?
I bought the ranch in the 90s,
Uh-huh.
around 95, 96. And it was a cattle ranch.
Oh, yeah.
They had about 300 cows in here.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, it's not the best place to have cattle,
Yeah.
because there's not much to eat for the cattle.
I
And
suppose they do a lot of damage to what is here.
they did.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, I decided to take out all the cows,
Mm-hmm.
sell them out, and start bringing back the natural animals from the region.
Great. You know, for an area as dry as this, you wouldn't expect to see this much wildlife. It's incredible what you've done to the place. Finding these small oases like this out here in the middle of this desert is the key to the deer hunting and the javelina as well. These tracks coming in here, we've got javelina and deer. And this is the first water we've seen in probably 3 hours of driving around. And even though it's dried up, there's just enough moisture in here that they're coming in and utilizing it. This is the driest time of the year, so whatever's left now is the end. But this is where they're going to come and where they're going to hang out, and we'll try and concentrate some of our hunting around this general area. So Jay, you not coming horseback riding with us or what?
You know, you cowboys can take off on those old mares.
Yeah.
I'm going on this high rack so I can see above these cactus.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna find myself a big old buck.
Uh-huh.
While you guys go play cowboy, I'm gonna go have some fun, shoot a big buck.
Well, I guess we'll see who does best then out of this, huh? Because I'm thinking this going in on horseback and being just above that brush is going to be the ticket.
It's gonna work really well when you shoot off the horse with that big muzzle brake and you go flying and hit the cactus. That's gonna, I want to make sure that gets on camera. That'll make the highlights.
That could be exciting. I forgot about that part. But I'm glad you reminded me, because note to self, do not shoot while still on the horse. All right. Well, good luck, man.
Good luck.
Get a big one.
Shoot straight.
The cowboys use horses daily on the ranch. Our thought was if they saw us coming on a horse, they just figured we were a cowboy, not hunters. You never knew. It's been a long day in the hot saddle. We got a late start on the horses, and in the scorching afternoon, not much was moving for us. I sure hope Jay's seen more than we have today. In Mexico, much like in Texas, there's several different techniques for hunting. You can hunt from the high rack in the back of a truck, or you can sit in an elevated blind, or you can even try some scouting on horseback, or a good old spot and stalk.
We get down of the horses here. They're going to go around, and we'll probably see them over there.
While we're here, we're trying anything and everything. Whatever it takes to get one of these wily whitetails, we're willing to try it.
What's really hard to fathom is being up here, and even though these hills aren't that high, we're at high altitude because this whole plateau here, this Central Plateau of Mexico, is already at 6,000 feet, so we're about 7,000 feet right here. And you can feel it, you know, when you're coming from sea level. It takes you a couple days to get acclimated, but middle of the day like this, nothing's moving though. We're getting back on the horses and see if we can bump something as we go back down through here.
After a long, hot day of scouting, the cowboys and I returned to the lodge, and were really surprised to find Jay with a really, really nice buck.
It's really a dandy.
Woo, look at this. Wow, what a nice one, Jay, huh?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he's really a dandy.
What a deer. This is the biggest one we've seen the whole time, by far.
Well, they're really different. If you look at the dew claws on them,
Yeah.
look at the dew claws on them compared to
Oh, yeah.
a deer, or look at the feet. He's really, really, really different.
Look at how long they are.
And he's all beat up on his hocks, on his shins.
Way to go, Jay. Central Plateau Whitetail. Well done. Man, what a trophy.
After Jay had collected his big whitetail, they took the hind quarter off of it, soaked it in some salt water, and then wrapped it in a bunch of big, huge cactus leaves. One of the treats of going to Mexico is getting the chance to eat the fantastic food. And on this trip, we got to try something completely different. After they'd wrapped the meat in the cactus leaves, then they put it down into a brick oven that was specifically built just for doing this method of cooking. Putting it down on the coals, throwing a few more coals around it, they left it overnight. What a treat getting to take a bite off it when they pulled those leaves off that meat.
Check.
See. This is the part where they give it to the gringo to see what happens. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is good. Yeah, it's so a unique flavor. It's smoky. Yeah, almost oniony, yeah. Is this done? Are you sure this is all okay? I don't know if this piece is done completely. I better check it.
Better check it.
I'll just make sure it's going to be okay to eat.
Mexican barbecue.
After seeing that Jay's technique of sitting in a stand had produced so many sightings of deer, I figured, you know, it's time for yours truly to give that a try. And as good as that slow-cooked venison had been, I was ready to load up the freezer with his big brother.
There's a pretty good 6-point, but he's in that brush. He's not that big, but we are running out of days, so something doesn't look right, though. It looks like he's got one horn that's not right. Like maybe he's broke off or something. At least we're starting to see some deer, though. Oh, here comes some does. It's a doe and a fawn. That's what we need. This is perfect now, because if these does will come,
by the looks of the way that buck was acting, he's following a doe. He's got his nose down, then he's got it up, and he's looking around. Classic of the early rut when these bucks aren't sure what's going on yet. The does are a little bit in heat, but not full tilt. This has been a pretty good spot. We haven't seen a big one here, but at least there's been deer moving around. But today there's not much at all. In terrain like this, you've got to be above it. You can't see anything from ground level. But this is a really nice spot because we got water back here. We've got this brush that's thick here that gives them a place to hide. And then it's kind of an open area right here where the stand is. So at least if you can see them coming through the brush, maybe some horns or something, when they do come out in the opening, you're ready to go. But patience is a virtue. And I gotta work on it a little bit. Oh, here we go. Here's a doe coming right here. Here comes a buck. Look at the spread on this one. Yeah, he's coming at you. Running towards us. Yeah. It looks like he's coming right on the same trail as those does. I think he just smells them and he's just gonna walk right along here. He's behind this palm, I can't see him. He's gonna get our wind. The wind is just like this. Okay, there he goes. He's gone down. Finally, the biggest one we've seen the whole time comes following the doe right through the same exact trail. He came right along, stopped at the same bushes, everything else. The does must be in getting to that stage where they smell good and these things are just following the whole time. And the way he came across this opening, he wasn't even hesitating. He was just booking right straight on the same trail as she was. Luckily he stopped. Shot might have been a little low. Oh yeah. The Central Plateau Whitetail. Look at this. And a dandy too. I'm gonna try and drag him out where we can get a better look at him. This is kind of dark in here. Look at these things. Look how dark they are. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal. This is a very good Mexican Central Plateau Whitetail. They're found just in this region. Safari Club has given them their own category because they can't compete with the bigger ones. These other ones that you see in some of the other parts of Mexico and America, they're definitely different. These have that unique black tail on them. They've got a much smaller body, still bigger than the Coues deer, but not as big as your Texas deer body-wise. You can tell he's an old deer. He's got good knobs on him, good mass. Look at those great brow points too. That's really something for this kind of a deer. They don't really get these high ones like that. Old gnarly buck. Wow, what a trophy. Thanks, old guy. Came all the way down to Mexico to collect one of these. A great hunt in a great area. Thanks to Jose Antonio Rivero and to Lynx Wild Safaris for putting this together for us. What a trip.